what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds. In this video, I'm going to be reacting to the new budget. Yesterday, there was a new budget of 2021. Massive tax implications for business owners and property investors. Also, there's a lot of talk about regeneration, exactly what they're planning on doing in the UK, tourism, and support for businesses and individuals, so furlough and things like that. I've got it right here. It's only a few pages long. You can read this. If you just type in new budget, look on the government website and read it. I would personally avoid just listening to people's opinions on it, although that's what this is. But you know what? People's opinions often, I'm going to try and keep this super factual, and I'm just going to read it. Okay, I'm going to read it. I'm going to go through the budget. I'm not going to read every single point, but I'm going to read all the points that could be relevant to you. Me and my brother are going to react to it. Russell Leeds, multimillionaire. So firstly, I'm feeling quite good. I'm feeling quite good about the budget. I don't know how you're feeling.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think the overall feeling of it is it's pretty good. There's lots of good things in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a difficult time to do a budget, isn't it? Because obviously the country's kind of on its knees, really, with all the debt and everything from the coronavirus. But yeah, overall, I agree with you. I think it's pretty good.
So listen, this budget, I don't want to talk about coronavirus or COVID at all. It starts off talking about the vaccinations. Basically, just to summarise, they're gonna pump a load of money into vaccinations. So we can just skip that. I want to move straight on to tax.
Okay.
Tax. Firstly, an extension to the temporary cut in stamp duty land tax in England and Northern Ireland until September will support the housing market and protect and create jobs. What do you think about that?
I think it's good news.
Well, we thought it was going to be till the end of June. Till September?
The
stamp duty cut?
Yeah, we did think it was going to be until June, didn't we? So September's really good.
So what that means is basically then that you're not going to have to pay any stamp duty when you buy a house if you're a first-time buyer up to, I think it's £500,000. If you're not a first-time buyer, it would be capped at 3% up to, I think it's 250 grand. So we're going to save on stamp duty.
Yeah, because that was due to end in March. A lot of people were... solicitors, because we've also been buying a lot of stuff at the moment, solicitors have been so busy. It's been like a bottleneck because everyone's trying to complete before March to September. I think for anyone that's buying
the ramifications of that is going to be that it just keeps the housing market going. That's going to be the ramification. Next, extension to the VAT cut to the 5% for hospitality, accommodation and attractions across the UK until the end of September, followed by a 12.5% rate for a further 6 months until the 31st of March 2022. That's great news.
That is great news.
If you're a hotel owner, or if you've got an accommodation business, if you've got a serviced accommodation business that's you're VAT registered, it's not going to save you loads of money. It's just going to mean that your customers, what that's going to do is it's just going to help the...
But what a lot of them did, like Starbucks, for example, because they're sharing it. So like they didn't keep their prices, they actually put their prices up. But they also reduced it a bit. So it was like, I think they knocked like 50p off all their drinks, but they really should have knocked off like £1.50 or something. I can't remember the figures. So
the thing that this is going to do, if you're in the serviced accommodation business, okay, or the hotel business, what's going to happen is it's just going to mean that it's been hit really bad. This is almost icy because when I first saw that, I thought, why are they actually saving tax? Why are they shrinking tax for certain types of businesses when they need to recoup money because of the furlough scheme and everything? And then I thought, well, actually, it's because they're trying to be fair to the hotel business because the hotel business has been hit so bad. And now they're saying, look, as a way of supporting you as we come out of lockdown, we're just going to reduce your VAT from, what was it? Was it
20%?
20%, right, to 5%, which is incredible. And then just 12.5% until the end of March 2022. So that's great. Next, maintaining the income tax personal allowance and higher rate threshold from April 2022 until April 2026. So what does that mean, bro?
So that means that, you know, obviously at the moment you can earn, for your personal tax, it's, what, 12.5 grand?
11, is it?
I think it's 12.5.
Right.
12.5 grand.
So basically you don't pay any tax up to the first £12,500.
Yeah.
And they're saying that that's just going to stay the case.
That's going to stay like it is. And then your higher rate threshold, which is like 50 grand or so, I can't remember the exact figures, but somewhere around that. That's going to stay as it is as well. So yeah, that's
and can you still, you know how at the moment when you set up a company, you're going to pay yourself £11,000, right? Or 12.5, whatever it is. And you don't pay any tax on that. And then you can take a dividend up to about 45 grand and pay just 7.5%. Is that all the same?
Look, maintaining it, it's all staying the same.
That's great. That's really good news. Next, To balance the need to raise revenue with the objective of having an internationally competitive tax system, the rate of corporation tax will increase to 25%. Oh, that's not great.
No.
For me, it's not. Which will remain the lowest rate in the G7. Okay. In order to support the recovery, the increase will not take effect until 2023. That's good. Really good. Businesses with profits of £50,000 or less, around 70% of actively trading companies will continue to be taxed at 19%. Okay. And a taper of above £50,000 will be introduced so that only businesses with profits greater than £250,000 will be taxed at the full 25% rate. That's bad news for me.
It's bad news for any company that's earning decent money, right? So like if you've got a company that's making like 50 grand or even 60 grand, it probably won't affect you very much. But if you've got a company that's making £2 million profit, it's going to change your tax quite significantly.
Yeah, but it's not going to come into 2023. We knew it was coming.
Listen, the government are giving out money left, right and centre on furloughs. They're going to have to claim it back somehow. We did know it was coming. Considering, I actually think these aren't that bad.
No, it's reasonable.
I thought it might go up more than that. So.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
And listen, I thought they were going to increase capital gains tax. They were talking about increasing it. They haven't though, have they?
No.
So if they've not increased capital gains tax, that's mega. That's great news. It's not here, but I've not read it.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything about
it says that they're going to maintain inheritance tax thresholds at their current levels until April 2026. So tax-wise, generally speaking,
outside of corporation tax, I think most people will love this because like most people aren't being affected. It's just they are going after the big companies, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've paid a lot of tax, but now we're getting cleverer. And as Robert Kiyosaki says, if you know what you're doing anyway, and not paying much tax is not ripping off the government. It's just doing what the government want. For example, if you drive a Tesla, you're going to be able to claim 100% of it back. Why? Because they want you to drive a Tesla. So do what they want and study the rules, and you're going to end up not paying much tax. Offset losses against profits. Keep your expenditures high. Be frugal when you can't claim it back, but when you can be extravagant. I think these are all ways to keep tax down.
So would you buy an interesting talking about electric cars? Would you buy an electric car next time?
Maybe. Next, that's tax. What do you think about the tax changes? Comment below what you think. Also, smash the like button if you're enjoying this video, because you know what? I think it's really important that people understand what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Next, government support. An extension of the coronavirus job support scheme to September 2021 across the UK. Furlough is being extended until September. What do you think about that?
Mixed.
Go on.
Mixed feelings about that. Every time they've extended it in the past, so do you know when they extended it to, was it March?
Yeah.
Last time. Everyone was like, oh, brilliant news. And I was thinking, no, it's not brilliant news because I kind of feel like we're going to be in lockdown now until March.
Okay. So you're saying it's good news that the government are still offering support with furlough, but the fact they've said it's till September...
Well, why do we need it? Why do we need it till September?
Because they're going to keep us in lockdown!
That was what would suggest
Potentially.
that. It would suggest
But then when
that.
we get onto the tourism, it would suggest maybe not.
Listen, I don't know, but it's one of those where when I first heard it, my initial reaction was...
Great.
We're going to be some sort of being held back and whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
Until September.
An extension of the UK-wide self-employment income support scheme to September 2021, with 600,000 more people who filed a tax return in 2019-20 now able to claim for the very first time.
Now, the self-employed people have been absolutely battered, haven't they? With no support at all, and even this. I know so many people who just can't apply for this. Because if you're earning more than £50,000, a profit that is, that's it.
So this is only for a particular segment of self-employed people.
And listen, I'm not self-employed, so I haven't actually had this issue, so I haven't really looked into it much. But from everyone I know that is self-employed, they're all like moaning about it, no good. So I don't. Listen, it might be good, might be a good change, but
yeah. All right, this is a big one. A new mortgage guarantee scheme that will enable all UK home buyers secure a mortgage up to £600,000 with a 5% deposit.
Now, I haven't looked into this too much.
Oh, I know all about this.
Okay, I heard that it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a first-time buyer anymore.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
This is Help to Buy, brother.
I know. But apparently you don't have to be a
New build
first-time buyer
houses.
anymore. I don't know.
Guys, the 5% help to buy scheme is bad, okay? It's not help to buy, it's help to sell. It's
great
on
scheme.
new build properties for developers
Yep.
to be able to sell their properties at a high rate. It's packaged as help to buy. I would enter help to buy scheme, this 5% deposit, with caution. You're going to have to live there yourself. This isn't for investment properties. Be very cautious.
I had a quick chat to Steve Bench about this when I saw
Yeah.
this came out, and he was like, "Yeah, it's basically the same."
It is.
And
It is. So, I knew it was the same without even looking into it. It's just obvious. I know the help to buy scheme that they keep saying it's going to end on this day, and then they put it back and then put it back because they want you to do it so bad because it's good for them. It's good for it keeps house prices high, but it's not really great because you're going to get a rope around your neck. You're going to have to pay the money back anyway. You're going to have to live there. Could be left in negative equity.
The help to buy scheme is sort of sticking around a bit like the DFS sale, isn't it? It's like, oh, it's going to end soon, and then it never does.
It never does. All right, 6-month extension of the £20 per week universal credit uplift in Great Britain, with the Northern Ireland Executive receiving additional funding to match the increase. A one-off payment of £500 to the eligible working tax credit claimants across the UK. All right, great. 6 months extension of the £20 per week universal. So if you're on universal credit, you're going to get an extra. You're going to continue getting £20 a week. I don't really know that much about that, but it doesn't sound exciting at all.
Well, you say that, but I mean, £20 a week, that would pay for Samuel 365. That would pay for unlimited mentoring, coaching calls with you, training with you. You get it
£20 a week? No, it wouldn't.
Well, pretty much. What's £20 a week? It would on a 5-week month. It's £95 a month, isn't it? You're not funny.
You can't say it would on a £20 a week.
It's there or
20 times 4.333 is going to be about £80, brother.
It's about 85 quid, isn't it? You're there or thereabouts.
All right. Well, you do get a one-off payment of £500.
There you go. So you get the rent-to-rent accelerator as well. Do you know what I'm saying?
Anyway, right, every little helps. Next, a new UK-wide recovery loan scheme to make available loans between £25,000 and £1. No.
And 10 million.
And 10 million. An asset and invoice finance between 1,000 and 10 million to help businesses of all sizes. That's basically like a bounce back loan replacement, right?
We haven't heard much about these yet. I did have a little look into this. Bounce back loans were brilliant.
Oh my goodness.
Bounce back loans
are still a thing, you know.
I know. C-bills.
If you haven't applied for a bounce back loan, do it.
C-bills were terrible from my experience.
That's only because it was hard to get.
Well, not hard to get. It was impossible to get.
Right.
So yeah, terrible.
Okay, but bounce back loans.
Bounce back loans were great. I mean, who knows? But
Listen, if you haven't got a bounce back loan yet, I think it's ending on the end of March. We don't know what the recovery loan scheme is. It might be something similar. Get a bounce back loan, and you're gonna have to pay the money back. But it's what percentage? Is it 2% interest?
Like, it's free for a year,
and then 2% for 5 years.
Something like
right?
that. It's very cheap.
If you can't borrow money and make money with that money when you're paying 2% interest, you suck and you shouldn't even be watching.
And free for a year.
Free for a year.
I mean,
so get a bounce
crazy.
back loan, invest it any way you can, make money on it, but make sure you don't, you do it legally and properly. All right, extension of the Apprentice hiring incentive in England to September 2021, an increase of payment to £3,000. I think that's really good. That means they're paying you £3,000 to have an apprentice. If you've got a business or a little business, maybe you're self-employed, and you want to just hire somebody, but I can't afford to hire somebody, stop doing those £5, £10 an hour jobs, get an apprentice, get £3,000 off the government to just have an apprentice. They're paying you to have someone, and then you pay an apprentice how much? You pay like £2.50, £3 an hour?
It's very cheap. I've a little bit of experience with having apprentices, and it's always been, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. They're not, when I did it, I don't know what it's like now, it was a few years ago, and I had a couple, and you had to, 1 day a week, they've got to study and stuff. So it's not quite like having a full-time member of staff, but it's very cheap.
It's basically free.
And it's helping someone get started and get.
And you're getting someone to do, it's brilliant.
It's much better than going to college, I think, to be an apprentice.
It's brilliant for them, it's brilliant for you. The government are encouraging it. Next, a new help to grow scheme to offer up to 130,000 companies across the UK a digital and management boost.
Yes. So
what is the help to grow scheme?
So the help to grow scheme, basically, it's a little bit like what we do in a way. It's training business owners, right? So I had a little look into this. It's a 12-week program, and you get like a business mentor, you get put into a group, you get lots of training programs, a bit like Samuel 365, but for business. Okay. I actually think it's really good, the government are putting together. It's meant to be RRP price.
So the usual price.
Usual price investment is $7,500.
Yeah.
But they're doing a special right now where the government will fund 90% of that, so you only have to pay £750.
Okay, so £750.
Yeah.
And it's
3-month course.
12 weeks. You're going to get mentoring, advice, business training. You know what? I'm going to do that.
You can do it.
I'm going to do that course. Yeah. What do you reckon?
For £750, why not?
I think it's really good that the government are encouraging people to get business training and education.
I agree. I agree. I think it's really good.
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
If only they would encourage it in schools. If only they would have money and financial literacy as part of the curriculum in schools. I'm pushing for that to happen.
I'd be very interested. In fact, I really want you. I want you to do it and review it. Because
I'll document it.
Great.
I'll document it. What the government's business training is like.
Brilliant.
£7,500 reduced if you buy now. for £750. It's a great offer. I'll run to the back and grab that right now. I'll get that. All right, next, tourism.
Also, a lot of people, it's not cheap, is it? £7,500 for 3 months of training. It's like people criticise you in particular for like the prices of your courses. My
courses would be way better than their courses.
£95 a month. It just shows the value, really.
My courses would be way better than their courses, but I'll do it. I'll document it. Good. And I'll say how good their training is.
Good, do it. Love it.
Right, next, tourism. All right, 2.8 million for a World Cup bid.
Yeah, so 2030, they are putting in the...
England want us to have the World Cup here in 2030.
I would love it if we get the World Cup.
It would be brilliant for tourism. Next, this is what they're pushing for. They're putting 90 million into funding to support our government-sponsored national museums in England due to the financial impact of COVID-19. It's brilliant. It's good. I mean, they're doing loads. 28 million. 28 million to fund the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in 2022, delivering a major celebration for the UK.
I mean, you could have a good party for 28 million.
You could have a great party.
That'd be a good party.
People moan about this sort of thing, like, the Queen, they're spending all this money on the Queen celebration and the royal family. It's like, look, man, it's tourism.
Yeah.
It's good.
It brings it back to all the local businesses.
And this kind of shows their intention as well. The fact that they're trying to push to have the World Cup here. They're trying to push to have this big Jubilee in 2022.
Well, I heard as well, I mean, it's not in this, but because, Euro 2020 got cancelled and moved to 2021. And it's supposed to be like in all these different countries across Europe. But we're basically saying, look, if you're going to struggle to do it everywhere, we'll do it in England. We're trying to get it in England. That's like this summer.
I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree.
We should be encouraging this. They're also doubling the legal limit for single contactless payments from £45 to £100.
Which is great. I don't carry a wallet anymore.
I don't. Apple Pay all the way.
Yeah.
Contactless payments.
The only time I get unstuck is on the toll roads.
Yeah.
And you pull up at a toll road and you're like, oh no, I literally don't have a card. But other than that, Apple Pay all the way, I agree.
All right, so tourism, so they're pumping hundreds of millions, maybe not quite hundreds of millions, over 100 million into tourism very, very soon, which is great. Regeneration, I think this one's really interesting. They're putting 18.8 million to transform local cultural projects in Hartlepool, Carlisle, Wakefield, and Yeovil. I don't know that place, but I do know Hartlepool. Hartlepool right now is one of the cheapest parts of the UK. It's so cheap. I've got a friend, Nozzy. She just bought a house in Hartlepool for £24,000. Right?
That's just insane. That is just £24,000. Yep. What's that? Is it like an absolute wreck?
Nope. She spent £2,000 lifting it, and now she's put a tenant in there. Paying, I think, about £400 a month rent.
You could build the house for 24 grand.
I know.
It's like you'd have to make a profit in that area as a developer. They'd have to pay you to take the land off them.
Yeah,
that's just.
But they're spending millions regenerating these areas, so it's great. Hartlepool, come at the next big thing. Well, there's so much negative equity in Hartlepool. It's great for lease option agreements.
Yeah,
it's great.
I agree. In fact, it's very interesting if you look at the regeneration. If you want to, people talk about capital appreciation. How can you possibly predict? And you obviously you can't possibly properly predict it because you never know what's going to happen with the housing market. But you can look for clues and signs.
Yeah.
And in this section, we go through the regeneration. There is definitely
And it tells you where they're putting money, what they're doing.
It's the same as like with planning permission. It's like I used to think back in the day. It's like, well, how can you're just at the mercy of the person who's playing, but you're not. The clues and stuff are there.
Publication of the prospectus for the 4.8 billion UK-wide Levelling Up Fund, providing guidance for local areas on how to submit bids for the first time round of funding starting 2021 and 2022.
So again, that's a massive fund to reach. It's not. I might be wrong, but is there certain areas? Can you see what areas?
You can, yeah. I don't know. I think so. I'm not 100% sure on the Levelling Up Fund, but
again, it's good for the regeneration of the country.
Yeah, they're putting a lot of money into it. Over 1 billion funding for a further 45 towns in England throughout Towns Fund, supporting their long-term economic and social regeneration, as well as their immediate recovery from the impact of COVID-19.
And again, you can look them up and see where they are and see if there's areas near you.
And they will tell you, like it says here, 8 new English free ports will be based in East Midlands Airport, Felixstowe and Harwich, Humber, Liverpool City Region, Boom Boom, Plymouth, Solent, Thames and Teesside. I got houses in some of those areas.
Like Teesside?
Some of those areas, I have to say, I don't even know where they are. I'll probably pronounce some of them wrong.
You did.
But I got houses in some of these areas, and some of these areas where they're regenerating, they're bringing regeneration.
Well, Freeport, so I'd never heard of a Freeport before today.
Right.
When I saw this
So go on, what's a Freeport?
So a Freeport, from my very limited experience looking it up, is... But it's basically like a port, so like they're obviously East Midlands Airport. It's mainly ports though, isn't it? So it's when they're importing goods, and it basically makes it very, very cheap for people to import goods into the area.
Listen, it's Thursday right now. I gotta go because I gotta go and get my little girl. She's just been born. I'm going to register her birth right now, which is far more interesting than the budget, but this is still really interesting. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop your comments and thoughts below. Smash the like button. Subscribe. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna go. I'll see you in a bit.